When my sister-in-law was 3 months pregnant, she hanged herself. I took the night train back home. My mom didn't say a word about the cause of her death, just kept urging me to go see her one last time. As I approached her body, my sister-in-law suddenly opened her eyes and whispered, "Luke, run." "Luke is my name," I screamed in fear, and my mom walked toward me with a grim expression. My mom patted my shoulder and said, "Stop standing there. Go call Old Jack. Old Jack is the village shaman, known for his great skills." I stumbled my way to Old Jack's house. He was puffing on his dry tobacco, silent for a long time before he spoke. Old Jack said, "Luke, you should go back. This matter is beyond me." I panicked and grabbed his thin, bony hand. "Old Jack, you can't just let her die like this." He looked at me but didn't say a word. I bit my lip, dropped to my knees, and knocked my head on the ground repeatedly until it bled, refusing to stop. Just as I was about to pass out, Old Jack finally gave in, helped me up, and squinted at me. "Luke, I can go with you, but let me be clear. I can't guarantee success," he said. I quickly replied, "Old Jack, as long as you come with me, it doesn't matter." He asked me to take 2 pairs of red chopsticks from his altar. Then Old Jack fetched a basin of water from his well. As I followed him, I couldn't help but ask why. His expression was cryptic. "You'll find out soon enough." When we got home, my mom looked relieved and hurried over. Old Jack snorted coldly, ignoring her. My mom awkwardly stepped back. I was confused. Old Jack had always been close to our family and got along well with my mom. What was going on today? I didn't have time to think about it. Old Jack instructed me to place the water in front of my sister-in-law, then put the chopsticks in the water and bow to her body. I knelt down and bowed 3 times. Old Jack muttered, "Fatima, I know you died wronged, but the dead can't come back to life." He continued, "Let's make peace. I'll ensure those families keep worshipping your memorial tablet year-round, okay?" As soon as he finished, the chopsticks in the basin suddenly stood upright. Startled, I looked at Old Jack. His face turned grim. He remained silent for a long while before looking at me. "Luke, go and uncover the white cloth on your sister-in-law's body," he instructed. Summoning my courage, I moved forward. As soon as I lifted it, I saw that my sister-in-law's previously flat belly from the morning was now as swollen as a balloon. Old Jack stepped back 2 paces and muttered through clenched teeth, "Heaven may forgive natural sins, but self-inflicted ones are doomed." My mom opened her mouth as if to speak, but Old Jack waved his hand. "Say nothing. Not getting involved in this." Then Old Jack glanced at me. "Luke, see me out." Taking a deep breath, I followed him. After walking several hundred meters, once we were alone, Old Jack pulled out a jade pendant and pushed it into my hand. Surprised, I looked at him. Old Jack sighed. "Take it. I've watched you grow up, and you've always had a good heart. This thing, it might just save your life," he said. The pendant felt warm in my hand. I couldn't help but speak up. "Old Jack, why did my sister-in-law hang herself?" I asked. He looked up suddenly, staring straight at me. His gaze made my skin crawl. Just when I thought he wouldn't answer, he finally spoke. "If you want to stay alive, remember 3 things. First, never let anyone see this jade pendant," Old Jack warned. "Second, when you sleep, never sleep on the bed, sleep under it," he continued. "Third, don't ask about your sister-in-law's death. Never ask anyone. I've said all I can. Whether you listen or not is up to you." Without waiting for my response, Old Jack left in a hurry as if afraid I'd drag him back. Feeling helpless, I headed home. As soon as I reached the doorway, my mom rushed out, looking anxious. "Did that old man tell you anything or give you something?" she asked. I touched the jade pendant in my pocket. "No," I replied. She didn't seem convinced and asked again, but I insisted I had nothing. Finally, she seemed relieved and told me to wash up and eat. That night, I wanted to keep vigil for my sister-in-law, but my mom pushed me toward my room. "You've had a long day. Get some sleep. We'll keep vigil tomorrow." Exhaustion hit me hard as soon as she mentioned it. I nodded and went to bed. As I lay on the bed, half asleep, the jade pendant in my pocket suddenly grew hot. I instantly remembered Old Jack's words and snapped awake, scrambling under the bed. Barely 2 minutes later, the door creaked open, and a bone-chilling cold swept through the room. My whole body felt as if it had been thrown into an ice cellar. It was August, this wasn't right. I held my breath, wanting to see who it was. Through the moonlight, I saw a pair of blood-red shoes. The more I looked at them, the more familiar they seemed. I felt like I'd seen them somewhere before. In a flash, it hit me those were the shoes my sister-in-law had worn. I took a deep breath, my teeth chattering with fear. I bit down hard on my wrist to stop myself from making any noise. My sister-in-law stood at the foot of the bed, motionless. All I could see were those crimson shoes. I couldn't see her face, but I had this terrible feeling. She knew I was under the bed. She was staring right at me. My own thoughts terrified me, and I couldn't stop my whole body from trembling. I had no idea how long she stood by my bed. All I knew was that she didn't leave until dawn was about to break. Just as she reached the doorway, she suddenly spoke. "Luke, run, run." Her voice was sharp, like nails scraping against glass. She really did know where I was. After she left, I collapsed to the floor like a pile of mud. But I didn't dare rest. I scrambled out from under the bed and bolted out of the room. I ran straight into my mom, who looked stunned for a moment. "You..." I looked at her, confused. "What about me?" My mom quickly shook her head. "Nothing. It's time for breakfast." I didn't pay her any attention and dashed toward old Jack's house. What on earth was going on? I might have survived last night, but that didn't mean I'd survive tonight. When I got to old Jack's house and pushed open his door, a foul stench hit me. Old Jack had hanged himself. His eyes were wide open, and the sight made my legs give out beneath me. That's when I saw the writing on the floor. "Luke, run." I slapped myself twice, forcing myself to calm down. How did old Jack die? And why did both my sister-in-law and old Jack tell me to run? I wandered back home, still in a daze. Just as I was about to open the door, I heard my mom whispering to someone inside. All 7 of our families were involved. None of us kept our sons in check. No one's getting out of this. My heart skipped a beat. What was she talking about? I pressed my ear to the door, trying to listen more carefully. Suddenly, someone patted me on the shoulder from behind. "Luke, what are you doing?" My mom heard the noise and flung the door open, her eyes scanning me from head to toe. "Why didn't you come in?" I quickly shook my head. "I just got here. I hadn't had time to come in yet." My mom stared at me, her eyes sharp as if she was trying to see if I was lying. I hurriedly changed the topic. "Mom, old Jack, he hanged himself." "What?" My mom's face went pale, and she gasped. She didn't even bother questioning me anymore, and rushed to gather people to head to old Jack's house. I wanted to follow, but my mom stopped me. "Someone has to watch the house. I'll take care of old Jack. You stay and watch your sister-in-law." I could only nod. That evening, everyone was at old Jack's place, leaving me alone to watch the mourning hall. I looked at my sister-in-law's coffin, filled with both fear and sorrow. I'd grown up with her. We were so close that I always thought I'd marry her. But, in the end, she married my brother instead. I stared gloomily at her coffin. "Fatima, why did you marry my brother back then?" I couldn't shake the feeling that something was missing, like I'd forgotten something important, but I couldn't remember what it was. My mom came back late at night. I rushed to meet her, but she shook her head, frowning. "Don't ask anything at this hour. Everything's just too strange. Tomorrow, we'll bury your sister-in-law. So much has happened. One thing at a time." I looked at my sister-in-law's coffin and could only nod helplessly. At dawn, people started gathering at my house, filling it with chatter. My mom even paid a hefty sum to hire pallbearers from the neighboring village. I lowered my head. Pallbearers? They only carry coffins of vengeful spirits. I looked over at my sister-in-law's coffin. Questions swirled around me, suffocating me. What exactly happened? Why did my sister-in-law turn into a vengeful spirit? I bowed my head, racking my brain for answers. My mom tugged on my sleeve. I turned and saw 8 burly men, the 8 Vajras. They gritted their teeth, faces flushed red, but they couldn't lift my sister-in-law's coffin. My mom leaned close and whispered in my ear, "I don't think anyone's sending Fatima off. She doesn't want to leave. You should sit on the coffin and send her off." My first instinct was to refuse. It was too eerie. I really didn't dare. My mom looked at my expression and continued. Fatima was pitiful. She didn't have much happiness when she was alive. You can't let her die without resting in peace. My mom's face was full of sorrow. I looked at the coffin again, and in the end, emotion won over reason. I clenched my teeth and walked towards it. The moment I sat on the coffin, the 8 Vajras lifted it with ease. A hint of joy flashed across my mom's face, and I exhaled a sigh of relief. Apart from that little hiccup during the lift, everything else went smoothly. But when they started filling the grave, I wasn't sure if it was just my imagination, but it seemed like the coffin was seeping blood. I wandered back home in a daze. Just as I was about to lie down and sleep, my mom came in. She was holding a set of clothes in her hands. She handed them to me. The room was dimly lit, and I couldn't see her face clearly. I heard her say that my pajamas were dirty, and she had brought me a new set. She said she would wash the old ones for me. I was stunned. I had only worn them for a day. They weren't dirty, but my mom insisted on washing them. Exhausted, I didn't feel like arguing with her, so I handed her the old pajamas. When I unfolded the new ones she gave me, I realized they were bright red. Under the dim light, the red looked almost like it was bleeding. My mind flashed back to my sister-in-law's coffin, and I immediately wanted to throw them aside. But my mom grabbed my hand. Don't throw them away. Put them on. Lately, too many strange things have been happening in the village. This will ward off evil. I stared straight at my mom for a long time. I was certain she was hiding something from me. But she was my mother-me, flesh and blood. She wouldn't hurt me. Understanding this, I quickly slipped into the red pajamas. Only then did my mom leave. That night, I slept deeply, but I kept feeling like someone was kissing me. Soft lips brushed near my nose, carrying a faint fragrance. I jolted awake, and when I opened my eyes, I saw my sister-in-law lying on top of me. Her chest was half exposed, covered only by a thin red veil. I screamed in terror. I scrambled to push her away, and in the struggle, I accidentally tore the veil off her. Her entire body was exposed before me. I gasped, noticing that her pale body was covered in scars. Burns, bite marks, scratches. I was frozen in shock. How? In my stunned state, she moved closer again. I tried to push her away, but I couldn't muster any strength. Not only did I fail to push her away, but she pressed even closer, just as I felt like I was about to merge with her. The jade pendant in my pocket suddenly heated up, snapping me back to my senses. I quickly pulled it out. The pendant glowed with a bright yellow light, and my sister-in-law screamed before she vanished. Using the pendant's glow, I realized I was lying in a narrow space. Wait, a coffin? A chill shot through me. I pushed against the coffin lid several times, but it wouldn't budge. I collapsed inside, despair clawing at me. Just when I thought all hope was lost, the coffin lid suddenly opened from the outside. I scrambled out, gasping for air. Once I calmed down, I realized the person who opened the coffin was a young man in his 20s, about my age. He squatted nearby, resting his chin on his hands, watching me with curiosity. I didn't know what his intentions were, but he did save me. I took a deep breath, walked over, and handed him a cigarette as a thank you. He didn't take the cigarette, just kept looking at me with interest. Can you tell me what happened to you? I was stunned. What? He pointed at me. The things that happened to you. This is the first time I've seen someone with so much going on. A yin-born child, vengeful spirits, spirit possession, debt to the dead, and even a ghost marriage. It's really a mess. What's shocking is that you're still alive. His words sent chills down my spine. My eyes were fixed on him. You're saying all of that is happening to me? He nodded, looking a bit disappointed. So you really don't know anything? Then he stood up, dusted off his clothes, and said, Can you take me to your house? I nodded and led him back to my place, but when we reached the door, he didn't walk in right away. Instead, he bowed 3 times before the doorway. I stared at him, puzzled. What kind of ritual is this? I asked. He squinted his eyes, his face solemn. People in my line of work must bow 3 times before entering a red house. It's the rule. A red house? I asked. He ignored my question and said, My name's Tony. I nodded back at him. I'm Luke. When I got inside, I searched the entire house, but I couldn't find my mom anywhere. I was worried and wanted to rush out to find my mom. I woke up in the graveyard, and I was afraid something had happened to her too. But Tony grabbed me by the arm. "Relax. Only the pawns get hurt. The one holding the pieces never does." I froze. "What do you mean? What's a pawn? What's the one holding the pieces?" But Tony wouldn't say another word. He just rubbed his stomach and asked me, "Got anything to eat? I'm starving. Digging up graves is exhausting. Get me some food first." I had no choice but to go to the kitchen and bring him the leftover funeral Mila big bowl full of meat. Tony stared at the bowl of food for a long time, not touching his chopsticks. He just looked up at me. "This meat, what kind is it?" I was stunned and blurted out, "Pork. Around here, we always serve pork at funerals and weddings." Tony shook his head. "No, this is lamb." I picked up a piece with my chopsticks, sniffed it carefully. There wasn't the slightest hint of that distinct smell. It wasn't lamb. Tony pushed the bowl back toward me. "Do you know about the 5 Barbarians Rebellion?" I shook my head. "No. I didn't even finish elementary school before I went to the city to work." "I don't know any of that fancy stuff," I said. Tony nodded thoughtfully and asked, "Do you have a brother?" I looked at Tony in shock, then my face fell. "How did you know?" "Yeah, I have a brother. He treated me really, really well growing up. But 3 months ago, he died suddenly from an illness. Today, I was digging up my sister-in-law's grave. She was pregnant with his child. I'm a goddamn bastard." While I was rambling on, Tony suddenly stood up. He looked at me and said each word clearly, "I think I know what's going on. Take me to your brother's grave." When we got there, Tony didn't say a word and started digging. I was horrified and grabbed his hand. "What are you doing?" Tony turned to look at me, his face more serious than I'd ever seen. "If you don't want to die, don't stop me. Keep digging." I was stunned for a moment, but then slowly let go of his hand and started digging with him. We dug for a long time before finally reaching my brother's coffin. Tony pried it open, and I held my breath as I looked inside. The coffin was empty. "What's going on?" Tony looked at me with pity. "A turtle, trapped in a jar, sacrificing the lives of the entire village to protect one person. Quite a grand plan." I didn't understand what Tony was saying. I stubbornly asked him again, "What do you mean?" Tony shook off my hand. "I don't have time to explain right now. I have to rush back and ask my master how to break this spell. If you want to stay alive, remember 3 things. First, don't eat the meat in the village. Second, don't get on your sister-in-law's bed. Third, trust no one." With that, Tony shook off my hand and ran. I wanted to call out for answers, but he was too fast. I couldn't catch up. I trudged back home, my head hanging low. My mom was pacing anxiously in the courtyard. When she saw me, she rushed over. "Luke, where did you go last night? I was looking for you the whole night." I was stunned. "So my mom wasn't home last night? She was out looking for me?" Seeing me silent, she asked cautiously, "What's wrong? Did something happen last night?" I was about to tell her everything, but then I remembered Tony's warning not to trust anyone. I swallowed the words back down. "No," I said. My mom wasn't convinced and asked again, "Are you sure nothing happened?" I looked at her, suspicious. She suddenly realized her own slip-up and quickly corrected herself. "I'm just worried about you." I shook my head and went back to my room. Something was off with my mom, I was sure of it, but she wouldn't tell me anything, and there was nothing I could do about it. I lay on my bed and started connecting the dots. My brother, old Jack, my mom, Tony, and my sister-in-law. First, there was my brother. If we hadn't just discovered his missing body, he would have been practically invisible in all of this. I wouldn't be able to get anything useful from him. Next was old Jack. He must have known something. But he didn't tell me anything, and now he was dead. There was nothing more to get from him. Then there was my mom. I squinted my eyes. My mom definitely knew everything. She might even play a key role in all of this. But she was dead set on hiding it from me. I wouldn't be able to get the truth out of her. That left only Tony and my sister-in-law. Tony. Well, a distant river won't put out a nearby fire, so the only one I could ask was my sister-in-law. Tony said before he left, "Don't get on her bed." That means she would come looking for me, again. Fine. I'll wait for her. I'd rather die knowing the truth than live in ignorance. Being kept in the dark, treated like meat on a chopping board, it was unbearable. That night, I lay in bed, holding my breath, waiting. But my sister-in-law never came. That didn't make sense. Unless something had to trigger her appearance. I tried to remember. What did I do yesterday that I didn't do today? In a flash, I snapped my eyes open, ran to the kitchen, and stuffed 2 big chunks of that pork into my mouth.